Guys, the Lagoon, I've told you guys previously, along with Reece Nelson, Marcus Edwards, Jadon Sancho, it'll be pretty good to see how them three develop because unfortunately, in an ideal world, I hope all three of them, I think they've all got I don't want to say world class, they've all got very good potential to be some very good players. And if they do, England are sorted on the flanks or in the 10 because they can all kind of drift in. They're all very similar, they're all skillful, they're always tricky, they're all direct, they all have an eye for a pass. If I had to say one, I'm obviously going to say Nelson's the best. If I had to actually rank them, I'd say Nelson probably first. Not much in it. Sancho there and Edwards there. Pure. In fact, Edwards probably just a bit in terms of development wise, probably ahead, tiny bit more likely to make the right pass at the right time in opposed to Sancho. But in regards to Jadon Sancho, I've got a lot of talking points. Now, you're seeing that there's rumours he's not going away with City's first team due to not signing a new deal. I've watched a lot of him. I've told you guys, I've watched a lot of him last year. I watched him against us last year for the reserves, the young kids. He teared it up for the under-17s. Like, the guy's a good player. Of course, he's still got a lot to learn, and he's not the finished product, and he's still got a lot that he needs to iron out of the game. But the potential's there. Sancho, along with Biram Diaz and a couple other players at City, they probably think if everything goes to plan and they stop spending all that money and give people chances, these are their two players that probably unfolding as well. Three that are probably gonna go over there. There's some other guys that are at City that I like, but I'm not gonna name them. I'll make it into another vid. But yeah, there's that. I like him a lot. Like I said, he's shown an eye for goal. He can take a man on. He's skillful. He does overrun it. He can get overgassed and things of that nature. But yeah, he's been, because of the contract dispute. Before I went off task, there's a contract dispute between him and City. Didn't go on tour. He's concerns about the pathway because for as good as he is as a left winger or right winger, wherever you want to put him, even as a 10, he's fighting the likes on paper: Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling, Sane, Jesus, all of these players that can occupy his position. Not only that, there's also other youngsters that are ahead of the queue right now. Roberts, that guy the Ukrainian guy they bought, I believe, and then loaned him out. The Colombian guy they bought and then loaned him out. These guys might not have a future there, but yeah, Byram Diaz should be ahead of him in my opinion. So yeah, he's fighting a melting pot. So there's concerns about the pathway. If I was him, I would have kept my arse at Watford because he probably would have made his first team debut if he was at Watford already. And this year, I'm pretty sure, you can give 17-year-olds, you can play them and you can give them debuts and they can do okay, like you're seeing with Ben Woodburn at Liverpool last year with Klopp, who I rate highly. But I believe to a degree, just wait till they're 18 a little bit. I think he's 18 in December or something. Forgive me if I'm wrong. You would have backed him to have made his debut by 17 or be in the first team picture, travelling, being on the bench at 18 at Watford. Watford, forgive me guys, they're not the most blessed of sides with money or attacking options. The pathway was clear there. And then to do it for 500,000, City are laughing. They took you before you signed the scholarship with Watford, paid your compensation. For as good as you are, you're just one amongst many. Like they're spending money to bring in the best players that are already ready to hit the ground running in the first team. They're signing prospective youngsters to load them out and have them in the reserves. You're just one of many. If you don't make it, they haven't lost anything because what's 500k to a team that's got unlimited money with their sugar daddies and things like that? Like, I heard that Arsenal and City are interested amongst other clubs, but these two are the most. Apparently, Spurs tried to get him as part of the Kyle Walker deal. Sounds believable, but also not believable at the same time. Apparently, his compensation will be 3 to 4 million. Now, if he hits potential how I think he can and develops to the player we think he can, we'll look back and think 3 or 4 million. Why didn't anyone take a chance on that? It was a bit stupid not taking a chance. A bit like Sterling, how Arsenal, Fulham, a lot of teams choked because they didn't want to spend the money on Sterling, and he's gone on to be a fairly decent player there than Theo Walcott for sure. But yeah, so we might look back and think 3 or 4 million, but I can't see it personally because you're going to spend 3 or 4 million on the guy. His pathway at Arsenal would be clear. He would get chances. Undoubtedly, he would be one of the best. But 3 or 4 million, when Nelson's there, you've got other options. We kind of need to hit the ground running. Immediately, he'd be with the under-23s, to be honest with you. He doesn't need to play under-18s. He played the under-23s. But I can't really see us playing 3 or 4 million when there's Nelson, when there's Trey Cole, when there's a lot of other guys there. That is not really a must. Now, if we want immediate success at youth level, which I believe we need to aspire to be like the Cities and Chelseas, not in the sense that they're just winning every title, because the amounts of winning all these youth titles to players actually making their appearance and trying to get into the first team side of them two respective clubs is very low. But we need to aspire to be like them in winning them trophies for different reasons, because it creates a winning mentality. You just want to win trophies. And if you look back, the last time we won it, I was in school. I was leaving school early to bunk and go and make these matches at the Emirates. Was it? I can't even remember. Was it? I'm being told. I think in my head it's 0809 when we last won the FA Cup, and we had a good crop of players, and that's probably of recent years our most successful crop of players in regards to if they haven't made it at Arsenal. Francis Kokelele and Wilshere, then Kofobi playing in the Prem, Ozia Cook playing at a decent level. Eastman until recently was playing at a decent level, now at Sutton for a couple of years. A couple of them sort of players. It was Luke Eiling or whatever his name is there as well. A couple of these players that was our best. Have got careers. That was our best collective crop of players in a while, I believe. And at the time, you would have thought there would have been a couple players to have made it. If J. Emmanuel Thomas Jet was able to replicate his youth form for the senior level, boy, he would have been some sort of player. But yeah, that's why I would like to win it for that. But back to the thing, like I just can't see us spending 3 or 4 million on Jadon Sancho, to be honest with you. Like, and it's still no guarantee he's gonna make it for as much as good as I think he is, and the talent. I believe he can be a real player. There's still no guarantees in football, people. The only thing it's about is, like I keep saying, you give people a platform, you train them, you give them good values. The main thing is platform to facilitate their talents. And then it's down to him. Like I keep saying, sometimes it's not always down to the player. There's injuries, there's managers and things like that. There's not fitting in tactically or style of play and them sort of things. But for the large part, it's all about just giving a platform. You buy these players to have a platform. Obviously, ultimately, the goal is to get into the first team and have a player that can potentially save you 40, 50, or if you look at recent years, 80 million and these things for average players. Yeah, but if they don't, you sell them on and whatever. It's about giving people a facility. I believe we should have took him when he was at Watford. But 3 or 4 million, I really can't see us doing that. I can't see it, people. I can't. I love to be wrong. I love the player, and I believe immediately he would boast to our youth ranks as well, because we're in dire need. Our first year scholars collectively are the most talented I've seen in a while. Whether they make it at Arsenal or not, I'll do a video on that later. But yeah, guys, Delete Laguna. I mean, I just can't see us personally going for Jadon Sancho. If I was Jadon Sancho myself, I'd consider Arsenal strongly. My guy Reece Nelson's there. He's getting chances. I'll get chances as well because I'm just as good. Yeah, I'm a baller. I'll be one of the best prospects at Arsenal. I'd play games. But I'd also consider Spurs. Pochettino's there. Edwards looks like he's on the cusp for the first team. Maybe if he keeps working. They love their homegrown talents. The pathway is undoubtedly clearer at Tottenham than at City, obviously, because regardless of ability, Spurs will give you chances. But yeah, guys, Delete Laguna, I'm signing out. Thank you for watching, man. Just quick little thoughts.